Coming up, the Rage Women's Tag titles on the line with Jet Williams and Goddess Mimi Emerson. Les Femmes Fatale defending the belts against AJ Lee and Shotzi Blackheart.
You know, everybody last month figured that it would be Jody Warwick and Faye Crawford that would finally succeed in taking the Rage Tag Team titles away from Les Femmes Fatale, but obviously they didn't do that. So now it falls to AJ Lee and Shotzi Blackheart. Let's see if they've got a shot. They have a great team, and they could pull an upset. Theoretically possible, Myron, but not very likely considering how well and how intensely Les Femmes Fatale train, along with the women's world champion Dynamite Genie Parker. That seems to be the general consensus. Parker and her girls rarely lose.
Intense training and clean wins. That's what kept Les Femmes on the top of the pile all this time. Consistently winning isn't as big a deal when you gotta cheat like a mug, and Les Femmes always wrestle a fair match.
And here they come now. Dynamite Genie Parker, the women's world champion, flushed with her win over Timeless Toni Storm just a little bit earlier, along with Jet Williams and Mimi Emerson together. They are the ladies tag trio champions. But Jet Williams and Mimi Emerson, the current holders of the Rage Women's Tag Team Championships, the titles in question tonight. And can AJ Lee and Shotzi Blackheart pull off an upset over Les Femmes Fatale? Well, that is what we're all here to find out.
I don't see it. You too. Actually, Jody and Faye had a better chance last month than Shotzi and AJ Lee got going here. I don't think they can beat on Jet and Mimi.
Well, it sounds like we got some Shotzi Blackheart fans in.
This ladies' tag match, one fall, with a 20-minute time limit, is for the Rage Women's Tag Team Championships. The challengers here are AJ Lee and Shotzi Blackheart. Their opponents, Jet Williams and Mimi Emerson, the Rage Women's Tag Team Champions, Les Femmes Fatale.
Boy, get a look at those two. Not looking at AJ Lee and Shotzi, mind you, but looking right through them. They certainly have a presence about them, don't they? Also, it's going to be Shotzi Blackheart and Jet Williams starting off in this tag team title matchup as Walt Rothburn sounds the bell, and we are on our way. They lock it up. Jet Williams with a kick right to the midsection of Shotzi. Off the lower rope, but no dice. The moonsault does not find the mark. Shotzi with an arm snap on Jet Williams, parlayed into an armbar. Jet Williams in a little bit of trouble right now as AJ Lee comes in on the tag. Jet Williams finally back to a standing position, locks it up with AJ Lee. There's a kick to the midsection. Jet winds up the arm on AJ and takes her for a little walk across the ring. Off the top rope, beautiful Japanese arm drag from Jet Williams as Dynamite Genie Parker looks on. Still flushed with her victory over Toni Storm. Snap suplex to AJ Lee. Here comes Mimi Emerson. Goddess Mimi locks it up with AJ Lee, drives both knees into the face of AJ Lee. Follows that up, driving the knee into the canvas. Turns it back over to Jet Williams. Les Femmes Fatale, a very efficient tag team for sure. Jet Williams sets it up. There's a wheelbarrow suplex from Jet Williams. AJ Lee rounded up again. Wound up into a DDT. Driven face first into the canvas and a hard kick to the midsection. Jet Williams quickly up on the top turnbuckle. Here she comes. Misses with the elbow. AJ Lee stepping out of the way just in time. She's got Jet Williams by the throat. Slams her down to the canvas. AJ Lee gathers up Jet Williams. A face buster as she turns around and turns it back over to Shotzi Blackheart. Jet Williams makes it back to a standing position. Shotzi catches another kick to the midsection from Jet. Jet Williams drives the knee into the arm of Shotzi Blackheart. Turns it back over to Mimi Emerson. Shotzi making her way back to a standing position. Mimi catches a kick. Shotzi escorts her towards the corner, slams her head into the turnbuckle. Rounds up Mimi Emerson, hangs her up in the tree of woe in her corner. And there's a kick right to the chest. Mimi Emerson counters. and delivers a kick right to the face of Shotzi Blackheart. Mimi Emerson catching elbows to the midsection from Shotzi. Shotzi drives a knee into the midsection again. Another kick to the gut. This time from Mimi Emerson off the ropes. Fails to connect with the moonsault. Shotzi goes behind. And a side suplex. From Mimi Emerson, followed up with a kick to the chest as AJ Lee takes over for her team. Again, the Rage Women's Tag Team Championships in the balance in this matchup as Mimi drives both knees into the back of AJ Lee. AJ Lee set up for another DDT face first into the mat. Followed up with another stomp to the arm. Mimi Emerson really starting to open up here. AJ Lee counters with a kick to the midsection. Another hard spin kick to the gut, this time to AJ Lee. And Mimi Emerson with a rear chin lock on AJ Lee near the corner. Referee Walt Rothburn monitoring the situation. Mimi Emerson finally releasing the hold. AJ Lee was in it for a short time. AJ Lee being escorted to Les Femmes Fatale's corner. Head first into the turnbuckle she goes. Mimi Emerson rebounds off the ropes, but catches a clothesline that spins her over like a record. AJ Lee with the fast counter on Mimi Emerson. Escorts Emerson to her team's corner. Head first into the turnbuckle goes Mimi. AJ Lee with a hard right takes her down into a seated position in the corner. Mimi Emerson counters with a kick quickly, gets back up, gets a hold on AJ Lee, and whoa! That was beautiful. Oh, well now, that was beautiful. Here's a pin. 1, 2. Mimi Emerson with a little bit of fancy razzle-dazzle on AJ Lee. Mimi winds it up. Ooh! Drop kick to the side of the head of AJ Lee. As Goddess Mimi Emerson takes herself to the top turnbuckle, far right corner. Turns herself around. Here it comes. Moonsault. Beautifully executed by Mimi Emerson. Mimi turns it back over to Jet Williams. And the advantage is all in the hands of Les Femmes Fatale at the present time. Jet Williams catches an elbow to the midsection from AJ Lee. Lee slams her down to the canvas head first. Turns around, beats it out of town, and turns it over to Shotzi Blackheart. Shotzi with a kick to the gut of Jet Williams. Rounds up Jet over her shoulders in a fireman's carry, but Jet Williams counters with a series of elbows, disengages her, delivers a kick to the gut, winds up the arm on Shotzi this time, takes her for a walk towards the corner. Off the rope again, another beautiful Japanese arm drag, pitching Shotzi Blackheart towards center ring. There's a moonsault to follow that up. Les Femmes Fatale, incredibly quick. Mimi Emerson comes in on the tag. Shotzi Blackheart laid out center ring. Shotzi catches a kick to the back. Mimi Emerson gathers her right back up. Tries to set up the wheelbarrow, but no dice. Catches a knee to the head from Shotzi instead, and here comes AJ Lee on the tag. As AJ and Shotzi try to battle back into this one to gain the Rage Women's Tag Team Championships. AJ Lee with a set of elbows to the head of Mimi Emerson. Whips her to the far right corner. AJ Lee with a hard forearm to the face of Mimi. AJ rounds her up by the ankles, alley-oops her up out of the corner, and gathers up Mimi Emerson again. Sets it up. Whoa! Beautiful snap suplex from AJ Lee. That had some force behind it as Shotzi Blackheart comes in on the tag, taking over for her team. Mimi Emerson back to a standing position here, and whoa, winds it up, delivers a kick to the leg and a jab to the face, a slap across a left. Look at this right here. And then drives a knee into the midsection of Shotzi Blackheart for good measure. Drives a knee into the arm as Mimi turns it over to Jet Williams. Les Femmes Fatale determined to hang on to the Rage Women's Tag titles. There's a moonsault from Jet. Jet rounds up Shotzi. Whoa! What a kick to the head for Shotzi Blackheart as Mimi Emerson is brought in again. Fast, frequent tags from Les Femmes Fatale. There's a stomp to the leg of Shotzi Blackheart. Shotzi counters with both boots quickly, gets herself back up to a standing position, turns it quickly over to AJ Lee. Mimi Emerson catches a kick. And woof! What an enziguri. Right to the side of the head of Mimi Emerson. And she caught it full. AJ Lee rounds her back up. slams her face down into the canvas, turns it around, walks out, and turns it back over to Shotzi Blackheart. Admittedly, their team also working pretty efficiently. There's a couple of kicks to Mimi Emerson. There's a kick to the leg. Shotzi Blackheart rounds up Mimi. There's a hard right. There's a knee. There's another right. A chop across the chest. And whoa, what a haymaker that was from Shotzi. Mimi Emerson laid out center ring as AJ Lee comes in on the tag, and the momentum is now beginning to shift towards AJ and Shotzi. AJ Lee, look at this, into an octopus stretch on Mimi Emerson's center ring. Mimi finds her way out, turns it into a sidewalk slam somehow. Mimi Emerson, caught from behind, delivers an elbow to AJ Lee. Sets her up into a headlock. There's a headlock punch, takes her down to her knees and then down to the canvas. And now back into that rear chin lock again. Mimi Emerson stretching AJ Lee for all she is worth. She might even get a submission. Jet Williams prepared to make a rescue if necessary. AJ Lee catches a stomp from Mimi. Mimi Emerson all the way up on the top turnbuckle here. Here we go. Big crossbody right across AJ Lee's body. And here comes Jet Williams again. Les Femmes Fatale. Quickly regaining the momentum here. 1, 2, but no. A near fall only. AJ Lee powering out with some power. There's a drop kick to the back of the head of AJ Lee. Jet Williams definitely steps over, makes her way to the middle ropes on the turnbuckle, and boom, another beautiful moonsault from Jet Williams. Jet Williams drives a knee into the arm of AJ Lee. AJ Lee starting to take some serious punishment at this point. Jet Williams off the bottom rope and another beautiful moonsault. And then a standing moonsault. Jet Williams covers, hooks the leg. 1, 2, up. Almost. Very, very close. As near to a near fall as you could get. AJ Lee still in there punching. There's another moonsault from Jet Williams as Mimi Emerson and Shotzi start to go at it on the outside. Oh, a suplex on the outside to Mimi Emerson from Shotzi. Shotzi stomping on Mimi Emerson. Jet Williams on the top turnbuckle targeting AJ Lee on the outside. Here she comes, and oh, that almost did not work. She got AJ Lee, but she caught some of it herself. A facebuster from Shotzi to Mimi Emerson on the outside. The referee now counting AJ Lee and Jet Williams. An elbow to the face from AJ Lee. An elbow to the face from Jet Williams. Jet Williams goes behind. Whoa! What a tilt-a-whirlican Rana you got right there from Jet Williams. That was art. Jet makes her way back inside the ring. The referee continuing to count AJ Lee. Shotzi Blackheart and Mimi Emerson still going at it on the outside on the opposing side of the ring. Mimi Emerson is laid out. Jet Williams deciding not to investigate here. Time is running out. Oh, look at this. AJ Lee going after Genie Parker. She has lost her mind, driven headfirst into the ring post for that one. Jet Williams defending her manager and her friend. Rolls out of the way of AJ Lee's shot. There's a elbow to the leg and a slap across the chest from Jet Williams to AJ Lee. AJ Lee taken down again. There's another drop kick to the side of the head. Mimi Emerson finally back at her tag corner. Jet Williams makes her way back inside the ring. Jet and Mimi both watching AJ Lee patiently. The referee still continuing to count. AJ Lee is on Dream Street. Well, now time is running out for AJ Lee. She better, well, Jet Williams decides to restart the count, takes herself out there to get after AJ Lee. Gets her by the ankles, and there's the whirligig. AJ Lee taken for a ride on the outside onto the floor. AJ Lee tossed towards the ring steps, but Jet Williams makes her way back inside the ring. The referee still counting AJ Lee. Again, this is a Rage Women's Tag Title match. AJ Lee rakes the back of Jet Williams on the outside. Jet goes behind on her. Quickly counters the suplex. AJ Lee pretty impressive on that one. But, whoa, another quick counter. Avoiding a DDT. Jet Williams in a seated position on the outside. AJ Lee needs to hustle, get it back inside the ring. She is confused at this point. She should never have gone after Dynamite Genie Parker, who I do believe has been ejected through no fault of her own, and AJ Lee may come to pay for that at some point in the future. The referee's continuing to count. Jet Williams finally back to a standing position. AJ Lee rounds her up over the shoulder, takes a walk with her towards the apron, and slams her head first into the lip of it. Makes her own way back inside the ring. Jet Williams quickly back to a standing position. Mimi Emerson tags AJ Lee with a right off the top rope and a Hurricane Rana to AJ Lee from Mimi Emerson. A little quick assist to Jet Williams. Jet Williams gets her by the ankles again, and there's another whirly gig for AJ Lee, this time on the inside. Jet rounds up AJ Lee, a scorcher to the Femme Fatale's corner. Head first into the turnbuckle goes AJ Lee. Here comes Mimi Emerson on the tag. And here comes a double team. Off the top, flying shoulder to AJ Lee as Mimi Emerson takes over for Les Femmes Fatale. AJ whipped into the corner. Mimi Emerson sits her up on the top turnbuckle. This is going to be bad news right here. Look at this. Whoa! Straight jacket suplex off the top. Here's a pin, a cover, and a hook of the leg. 1, 2, 3. That is going to do it. Les Femmes Fatale retaining the Rage Women's Tag Team Championships. Let's get the official time.
Here's the time. 14 minutes and 46 seconds. Your winners, and still, Rage Women's Tag Champions, Les Femmes Fatale.
Well done. It seems we got to give it to Christy. She definitely called it. Les Femmes Fatale retaining the Rage Women's Tag Team Championships over Shotzi Blackheart and AJ Lee. In pretty impressive fashion, too. I have to concur with you, Myron. Christy Ogilvy, yes, you did certainly call this one. You saw it ahead of everyone else. That AJ Lee and Shotzi Blackheart didn't have as much of a chance as Faye Crawford and Jody Borick had last month, and you were certainly right on that one. Les Femmes Fatale battling back to retain the Rage Women's Tag titles. We'll be back with more RWL Rage in just a moment.